Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Damien. I guess Justin took care of intros, so maybe why don't we start with a little bit of background from you on Blockdaemon. I mean, I know many folks here are probably familiar with them and you guys because of the work you do across the industry. You guys are pretty well known as being the large-scale enterprise provider, but we're here at a conference full of developers that are just getting started on Soroban as it begins its journey. Talk to me about sort of how you guys work with smaller developers.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having us. We're delighted to be here, and we're delighted to speak to the community at this exciting time, right on the cusp of something new. We do have a reputation as Blockdaemon of being the guys focused on the larger institutional businesses, and Gaetan from the team was down on the main stage talking about that earlier. But ultimately, to get scale, to get adoption, to get growth, it all starts with the amazing work the development community does. Obviously, as head of product in my own business, I treat the amazing work of our developers as if they're some type of magicians. But I think what's really important for us as we grow is that we continue to partner with Stella and Soroban and bring to markets the ability to have faster, more reliable access to the data required to read, write, and transact on Soroban and other chains.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Maybe it's worthwhile to sort of highlight, or maybe ask this question, which is, the RPC clients, they're open source. They're, anyone can sort of download and run it themselves. Why should a developer think about, going with an infrastructure provider? What are the things? What are the jobs that you take care of for them that they don't need to worry about?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think the reason we have a business and where we started from was nodes and infrastructure. We take the boring stuff out of being able to build and scale. And so we have a global presence. We've got infrastructure deployed across every continent. We have a team that's purely focused on providing the service and infrastructure to make sure that this critical capability doesn't go down for you. And I mean, we're a startup as well. We've got 200 people, and if I can take the cost of operation out of my business insofar as having one extra person or even half an extra person working on a project or delivering the thing that's going to make value or deliver value to the business, I definitely would focus on that. And I think that's what we with Soroban are offering is the ability to take that time cost out of having this infrastructure available.
Yeah, awesome. And I guess we've heard a lot about folks that are operating globally, and the RPC is very much the part of the infrastructure that your customers or users don't see, but is probably the most critical piece in the value chain, because it's the thing that their mobile application or whatever is actually touching, right? It's the first hop.
Yeah.
And so, to talk about what that, how you guys support that global scale and reach for folks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge we've had in our own business. We entered into the APAC region in the last year, and so that required us to deploy infrastructure at scale to reduce latency in that region. And I think having learned our lessons, we've had to do difficult things like follow the sun production support to make sure that as calls hits our infrastructure, when things inevitably go wrong, that there's someone there in the middle of the night to get up and fix it. I think, really what we're focused on is trying to take some of the stress out of what is already really stressful, which is building, projects that are the first of their kind, or at least thought leaders in the space, on top of this infrastructure. And so we solve for what we've had to solve for ourselves, the 99.9% uptime, which is something that our sales teams say all the time, but it's a reality. We're focused on large institutions, and that's where that's kind of our bread and butter as a business, and we can't afford to let infrastructure go down, and that's part of the value prop that we bring in partnering with Soroban and offering RPC infrastructure, that we've solved some of these problems that if you go it alone, as you say, it's open source technology, that you'll face in the future, and hopefully we can add a lot of value and take some of the pain out of that.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys are new to Soroban, like most folks are, because it's just launching now. But
Yeah.
I mean, you're not new to the Stellar ecosystem. I mean, you guys have had an offering around Horizon. I mean, how should folks think about that as well? I mean, like, do you guys also offer services for hosting a version of Horizon as well?
Yeah, we do, and I think, Nick, we were speaking about the fact that there's a lot of building on both protocols at the moment. I think when it comes to Soroban or Stellar, the opportunity is to use our service to get access to both chains. It's all included in the one package, so we're doing a nice deal. So hopefully that'll be good news, and it's available at the one endpoint. So as you build on both, you can look to assess if you want to focus your time and money into accessing a service like ours that can scale and has scaled for both networks, or if you go it alone.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I guess we should probably talk about the how people can work with you all. I mean, we've got this up on the stage. Should you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So our relationship with Stellar goes back a long way, and as you say, we've supported through our RPC API for quite a while. We're running Soroban testnet with a view to, and we will have the mainnet once it becomes available. For right now, follow the link on the QR code. I think it's blockdaemon.com/Soroban. Put in your information, and you'll become eligible for a deal between the foundation and ourselves. It's first month free and $95 a month for a year then after, and you'll get access to our RPC API.
So that's all the infrastructure you need.
It's all you need to get going.
Scalable?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure there are folks today that have their own infrastructure running. It's probably some of you will be thinking, well, maybe it's easier to leave it running than to switch over. But I think at the pace change is going to happen, and I think all the talks today have been around, the pace at which innovation is happening and will happen as you guys go to mainnet. I think it's just a concern that we can deal with for you, and at least for me. Knowing that there's a dedicated team 24/7 watching this, making sure our own services don't go down, makes me sleep well at night compared to maybe 18 months ago where I was pinging a developer in the middle of the night to get things back online.
Yeah, we run our own Horizon infrastructure, and that's some people end up staying up all night.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, awesome. I guess you're a product person, and so you have to spend a lot of time thinking about segments of who your customers are. Obviously, you've mentioned you guys are known for working with large firms, trading firms, issuers, exchanges, and so on, right? How do you think about the developer segment, and who's the best fit? Who's your ideal customer? And then who's maybe too small or too large or whatever the case may be? Who's in, who's out?
Yeah, I think it's a really difficult question. I think if you were to have asked me that 6 months ago, I'd have said, we're really institutional focused, and that's where our sweet spot is. I think part of that's because we believe that developers, for whatever reason, didn't find a fit with Blockdaemon, or to some extent we were seen the demon of the ecosystem, enabling some of the larger institutions to make money off blockchain. I've been in the space a long time. Believe me, I've spent time thinking about that and why what we're doing is for the good of the community. I think right now our RPC API really serves everyone. We actually have a lot of smaller developers who are on what I said I wasn't going to mention to you in our sales guy, which is our free tier, which is 3 million compute units a month. And for some people, that's actually enough to the ire of my finance people. But ultimately, it gives us the opportunity for some of those smaller developers to get on board and to also give back to the community. I think as I say, I've been in blockchain for quite a while in my previous role and now again. Giving back to the community is important. So smaller developers, but then also as businesses scale. So our starter tier, which this offers for, goes up to 30 million compute units. And then we obviously have the larger institutional businesses on board as well. But for me personally, as I focus on improving this product, more and more, my focus is on talking to developers, the users, and being less led than maybe historically we have been by the needs of the larger institutions of the world, and trying to make the product better for the people that use it.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, that makes a ton of sense. And maybe I'll just use this as an opportunity to give a plug for this, or a warning, which is historically Stellar has offered Horizon as a default public service. It's been available to everyone. That will not be the case with the RPC. So before you would be able to run plug in the Stellar's public Horizon instance up to some rate limit. That won't be the case with the RPC service. So you're going to have to figure out an answer to this question. And the reason we did that historically is because this is the sort of the primary surface area that drives user experience, right? Your users are going to hit this infrastructure first, and the speed at which it responds is going to decide how long it takes for whatever app they're running to load. And that's particularly challenging in the case where, some decaf was mentioned in the main presentation, right? They've got users in Sierra Leone, they've got users in Colombia. They can't be served by the same server infrastructure in the same data center somewhere. Otherwise, somebody's going to get the short end of the stick from a response time. So if you want to solve a problem like that, you're going to have to solve a problem like that, especially if you're in multiple locations. You're going to need a service like this. You're either going to need to run it to yourself, or you can talk to Blockdaemon and take advantage of that great price. So,
yeah.
Anything else we should add?
No, happy to speak to you guys. Would love to hear about some of the challenges you're maybe facing today, and as you build on this and see how we can help in terms of making sure that our docs deal with any of the niggles that you guys face. And yeah, would love to speak to anyone that can give me some of their time after the conversation as well. And thank you again for having us.
Oh, this is awesome. We're excited. We're going to get out of the Horizon business, so we're good.
Great, good.
Awesome. Thank you.